This is insanity. You can't have a war on terror. What, are you having a war on terror, are you? That's right. What does war create? Terror. Exactly. So you're having a war against the consequence of the actions you're involved in. Yeah. But ours is good terror. It's good, peace, freedom-loving terror, you know. Kind of like terror light, you know. Sort of a diet terror. You know. Sort of, I can't believe it's not terror, you know.
My name is Paul.
My name's Andy.
And this is Tuesday the 19th of January 2015. Not a note have we written.
No.
We can't sing one either, so please don't ask. We have hit week 3 in January 2015.
Yep.
Since the game all went wrong and we had to start counting again. Because 2015 years is a very relatively short space of time. In fact, if you do the maths, it's less than 30 lifetimes. So even though 2,000 years seems a long time to us, it's just 30 lifetimes, isn't it?
Yep.
If we do the 72 years.
If you do the... Yeah.
Which is 26,000 days. Which just might coincide with the 25,920 years of the Grand Circle.
The grand scheme of things, yeah. The Grand Revolution.
Yeah. 26,000 days. Doesn't sound long now, does it?
No.
That changed a little, didn't it? You know, you can picture a pile of £26,000.
Yeah.
And you've got £1 a day.
Not a lot, that.
That's how about a third of the world is getting by.
Yeah.
On $2 or $3 a day.
$2 or $3 a day, yes.
And we feel sorry for those people just while the news item's on. Just while we're watching it, if we're in company. If we're, those poor people. We all know that TV news story has been shown to us. So we feel better because we're not as poor. But the people in charge have got half the world starving and half the world have got a little too much to eat.
Yep.
Do you think that's by accident?
No.
Of course it's not.
No, of course it's not.
Because the starving half are keeping the working half working.
Yes.
That's how this works. It works in each country as well, and that is the people at the bottom, the starving percentage. Keeping the working people pedalling ever faster so they don't join the ranks.
Exactly. It's just a version of carrot and stick, isn't it?
It's been going on for a little while, hasn't it?
A long time.
It was going on before you and I got here, and I suspect it'll be carrying on a bit afterwards. Always under the threat of isms. We're always living under the, it'll be the end of the world unless we do this. It'll be the end of the world unless we do that. Because the more study you do, the more you realise that it's just a control system.
Yeah.
I mean, we call it the truth of movement, and that's because you can never keep hold of the damn thing. It keeps moving around quite quickly. And anybody who claims they've got it has usually got a price to charge you to give you it. But you don't have to buy it. The genius about this is that slavery was actually banned, wasn't it? It was actually... slavery was over and done with.
Repealed.
1837, I think it is, isn't it? And we can say nowadays, no, it wasn't. But the version that they were talking about sort of was.
Yeah.
It sort of was. Because now we came into a pay-per-work system. And, you've got to pay to work now. Okay, before you... Perhaps that wasn't quite the same. But now you've got to pay everyone's got to pay just to work, just to survive. Freedom's got a price tag, and living isn't free.
Yeah.
and it's quite expensive, and it's going to carry on getting more expensive.
Exactly.
Because we're not paying attention.
We're not.
Now, the clip at the beginning of the show was Steve Hughes.
Yes.
A comedian that we missed in Leeds last time he was on, but I'll make sure we don't miss him again. We missed him. I knew he was on, and we got chattering, and slipped my mind.
Yeah.
Like all fish. Bad memories. Bad memories. So, yeah, missed him. Won't miss him again, though. Brilliant comic. I think, leading the charge.
He is, yeah.
So he doesn't seem to mix with us, though, and I wonder why not. Is it because we're a bunch of dumb idiots?
Maybe
Is it because we're a bunch of dumbasses that can't actually get together and decide what we're going to do with ourselves?
Yes.
We moan and whinge and whine like little boys and girls at playtime, but when the bell goes, when the bell tolls, you'll line up and do as you're told because you're hungry.
Mm-hmm.
You're hungry. The truth of movement, as we used to lovingly refer to them and kindly count ourselves as a number.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do that now, do we? We don't. It's an apprenticeship, isn't it?
It is.
It is. It's a 2 or 3 year apprenticeship that I think anybody who says, yes, I saw it as an apprenticeship, now I'd like to talk to you.
Yes.
But those that are still in it, splashing about in the waves we call online, causing turmoil and creating nightmares for everybody around them. Those that think
playing with the sands of time, turning it over and over and over,
exactly,
seeing if it lasts any longer.
The hourglass,
the hourglass,
the hourglass. But yeah, it is what happens. And if you're in the midst of those throes and those torrents, as it were, because there are torrents on here. If that's how your life's going, then keep going. Yep, they are trying to drown you. Yep, it does feel like you've been shipwrecked. Yep, you do feel like save our souls, lost at sea.
Yeah,
it is that feeling. And keep going, keep going. Don't think someone's going to help you, because grabbing at the straws is always only for fools. Try and find your own direction. You've got your arms, to swim. You've got your head to navigate, and you've got your air force, to keep breathing. Don't give up.
I was thinking of jumping ship. The term jumping ship, and I've thought, who are the persons that I don't want to be in that ship with when it's sinking? Because they'll punch your lights out to get the lifeboat before you.
They're the ones that we're telling them the ship's sinking.
Yeah.
The ship of state has been sinking now for well over 100 years.
Certainly is, yeah.
Okay, I mean, was the Titanic the start of what was called the fall? Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. Yeah. People say it was. Yeah. People say it never did. People say that it was a copy ship. People say there was an iceberg. This is distraction. It's distraction. You'll never know. You'll never know. And when you realise that the land of confusion is designed to be the land of confusion, so you spend your time arguing about things you cannot prove. You can't prove them.
No, I liken it to the Marie Celeste moment, where you're on the ship and there's just you on it, and you think, bloody hell, where's everybody gone?
Well, I've likened it to Desert Island, haven't I?
Yeah.
Do you actually get marooned on a desert island? And now you've got to figure out how to do it yourself, because we only live one lifetime, and we've only learnt this skill to actually learn that our lifetime is only a very small clip of what is history itself.
Yep.
And because that small clip, that dash between the start point and the finish point, that life that you've lived, you don't often get the time to really vision forwards and backwards properly.
No.
Because you're too busy concentrating on your own race.
Yep.
And the things that you need to survive. And yet, you don't have to look much further back than 1 or 2 lifetimes to realise that we enslaved ourselves from 1837 onwards, with the after the Industrial Revolution, well, all the revolutions, but the Industrial Revolution, and the cities and the towns and the methods and the factories and the mills. It was then obvious to the powers that do control us, we are owned, and if you don't think we are, well, you shouldn't be listening to this show. Really, it's not. This isn't your time yet. Go back and learn why you're owned, because we are owned, and we are managed, and we are farmed. And we milked and fleeced.
They changed. Well, it was just the illusion. They did clamp us in chains, didn't they? Have chains there on our necks and clasps on our hands and wrists and ankles.
But we were demoralised then. And then we weren't used for nothing.
But now we've just got them. We're called blue and white collar workers. It's the same thing. You've got your collar and your cuffs.
It's the understanding of how we've lost our sovereignty and independence individually.
Yeah.
We've all done it.
Yeah, we have.
We've all submitted to the easier version of providing for ourselves, and that is the illusion. We now go out and gather the money that is provided for us to pick up along the way to give back to our masters as they provide the things we need.
Yep.
We now call that independence. Well, it's nothing of the sort, is it?
No, definitely not.
It's not nothing of the sort. You know, you look in the 50s, Dad could bring home enough money to look after Mum and 2 kids, and they could buy a second-hand car, and they could afford to go on holiday and still pay all the bills. That's not the case now, is it?
No.
We've done that before, so we won't run that again. But look how man has fallen over time, and look how we've been given reasons to fall, when the real truth is our productivity has increased dramatically, but the money we take home in return for that labour has decreased proportionately. Yeah. Was it last year that the world's monetary wealth was concentrated in the 1%? They owned 42% of the world's wealth was in the 1%'s hands. Yeah. This year it's forecast to be 48% of the world's wealth will be in the 1%'s hands. This is a world game of monopoly. It's not just the streets of London and the utilities and resources of London. This is a game of monopoly on a worldwide scale. Will it end up with just one winner? We won't live long enough to see it.
No.
But one thing we will learn is that the number of people with the most money, that is reducing. From 243 families to claim to own the top 20% of the world's wealth, that world's wealth is now concentrated into 80 families. So there is a really big sucking sound of the money going upwards.
With the illusion of the lottery and people thinking that there are more millionaires, because that's what they keep spouting, that we have more millionaires now than we've ever had before. But we
are so easily fooled. There is nothing we won't believe.
It isn't, but when you look at those millionaires, one person won the lottery, they won £11 million on the lottery. 11 years later, they were bankrupt. So that's £1 million a year. That's how quickly you can get through the money.
I've had this conversation actually with somebody else just recently about the lottery. And most people actually who win big, they actually do live happily ever after. Or at least we don't get to know if they don't. There are a few highlighted cases.
Yep.
The jailbird boy, you know, so he made the right ass of it, didn't he?
Yeah.
But there's always going to be. I mean, look at Paul Gascoigne. Look at George Best.
Yeah.
What did money do for them? They couldn't handle it.
No.
So to focus on the minority, yet the majority do live happily ever after and manage themselves quite well. And I suspect everybody who's listening to us would say, just give it to me. I'll be fine with it. I'll be absolutely fine with it.
I'll sort it out for you.
Yeah, exactly.
We have agents for that, though, don't we? That's why we've got football agents, press agents.
Well, yeah, but that also goes along with it.
Pop star agents. Simon Cowell's an agent.
You think to yourself, when your dad tells you to be independent and learn a skill and a trade and give yourself some value and work hard and it'll all be all right in the end.
Yeah.
And don't bother me now because I'm doing lottery.
Yeah.
So nothing has changed except the players, and the players now we sit down to play. We have very little money, and in this game of Monopoly, we can't really buy anything of value, can we?
No.
We can't. You know, on the board is cars and ships. What else is there? There's a boot, and there's a train, and that sort of thing. All real things, and all we can buy is well,
fake things,
digital stuff.
Yeah, digital stuff.
You know, digital books and digital music,
gigabytes for your phone,
and digital pictures. You know,
Yeah.
these are all provided from a central source. You know, I mean, I know it's in Harrogate. They're building a brand new cinema, a brand new picture house cinema, whatever you want to call it. And I believe it's going to be a little more, more of an experience with a bar, and you'll be sat in your own private seats, as it was, opposed to sat in rows.
All right, yeah.
And this cinema's going to be quite upmarket. I think your drinks will be brought to you, and I think you can have snacks and that brought to you. I've spoken about this before, haven't I? About a couple of years ago, I said that's what we want a cinema. I want to sit down over a 3-course meal and wait a service, and be a little bit tipsy at the end.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the sort of cinema that's been built in Harrogate. But that's only bridging the divide, isn't it? Because the divide is going to be your home cinema.
Yeah.
You're actually building the cinema inside your own house. The screen's getting bigger. The speakers are getting bigger. Hollywood's making bigger budget films. And eventually there'll be, there's probably 2 billion people now wired into the internet. And the blockbusters will be piped to your home for $4.99 on a Saturday evening.
Yeah.
And if 500 million people buy the $4.99 first screening, that is money that Hollywood is... that's 2 billion quid.
Yeah, dreaming of.
Exactly.
On a Saturday
that's
night.
2.5 billion quid.
Yeah.
So the experience of going to the cinema to see the latest blockbuster where mum, dad and 2 kids go with a big bucket of popcorn which costs in excess of 40 quid. Or around about 40 quid by you telling them you've got everything you need, 40 odd quid. The experience you'll be able to have in your own home cinema for something like $4.99.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to buy it?
We will, yeah. That's all we'll afford.
Bloody love it.
They're engineering it that
and
way,
we'll
aren't
still believe that we're living like royalty.
Living like kings.
Still king size this and man size that and regal this and royal that. It is a marvellous system that's been created of simulation.
It is.
It is simulation. We have, over our lifetime, I've seen it because in my DJing days, when I first started DJing in the mid-80s, I actually took over from my stepfather. He was a DJ. And I took it over and I developed it and built it into a company. It doesn't matter. And I remember in the mid-80s, people were fun. They were up for some fun. And dancing and having a laugh and playing the silly games that DJs used to play. Name that tune and blind... Which kisses your wife's kiss and that sort of thing. Remember all those silly things that DJs used to do? It was easy to do in the 80s. By the time I'd finished DJing in 2002, it was all over. Dancing was done. Having fun was done. We were now shy, retiring, stand in the shadows type people. Not all, but the majority of functions, the private functions, were done. You couldn't create that atmosphere anymore.
No.
Everybody was insular and private and shy and didn't want to associate like they used to. And that's in 2002, before the internet really took a hold on our lives. I could see the downfall was coming, quite quickly. So watching people have fun is now what we actually appear to feel is enough reward for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's actually enough for us.
Yeah.
We work hard all day, then we come home, and after tea, we put our feet up, and we watch people doing things that we would like to do.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to do that, but I can't. But for some reason, which I think is quite obvious, and it's very English, this, or very British, we don't talk about money, do we?
No.
We don't talk about money. What we do is, if somebody starts off a conversation that is, if someone who's poor starts off a conversation, the person who thinks they've got more than the poor person encourages them to say, just how poor are you? Because the more they listen to your conversation of how you're suffering, the bigger winner they feel.
Yeah. It's all about massaging your own ego, isn't it?
Yeah. But they say, oh, tell me all about it. Oh, gosh, that must be difficult. And what do you do then? You see, sometimes the meter runs out and you haven't any money to put in. Oh, have you got some candles? How do you heat your water? Do they put their hand in the pocket and give them 20 quid?
No.
They bloody well don't, do they?
No.
It's sick, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
There's some sort of sickness, but because it's such a slow moving progress, this. Well, the poor. They could change their own lives if they wanted to, but the poor. So, the government helps them, so I don't have to bother. Because we look at what we've got today, what we're presented with. We don't look at how we got here. We never remember that being a single parent was shameful. We never remember that homosexuality was something that half people didn't believe existed, and the other half were revolted by it. And now Stephen Fry, the new Queen Mum, he's married. Is he married a boy at 27?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. All we do is highlight the changes, how things have changed, and did we get asked about them? No. And something that we were uncomfortable with 30, 40 years ago, now we're told to be comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the slow process, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had all sorts of unpleasant words at school for boys who like boys, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You try saying them in the Celebrity Big Brother house. You try saying those words that we used to use when we were teenagers, or even younger sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Remember all the slang and the unpleasantness? I mean, but it wasn't, was it? It was playground innuendo, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was all right then. It was all right for Love Thy Neighbour to do it. Love Thy Neighbour was nothing more than what was his name, Reg? Did on the buses spin from that? No.
No. I remember the programme.
Yeah.
But,
anyway, but Love Thy Neighbour was a regular English guy,
and
racist,
and his wife,
and his wife, and a coloured guy moving in next door.
Next door, yeah.
And the whole programme was about the differences.
Yeah, over
and
the fence.
And the names they could think of to call each other.
Yeah.
And it didn't occur to us it was racist at all. At that time, it was nothing more than, well, mainstream comedy.
Yeah.
Because it was on BBC One.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was on, whatever. It was on mainstream TV, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Yeah.
And yet, just 10 years later, you can't say that. You can't say that. Well, why not? Because somebody who makes the rules says you can. We don't understand or recognise any of this programme, do we? Until somebody points it out to us.
Mm-hmm.
And then we usually don't understand or recognise any of this programme anyway.
No. No, it was, and you can see the subliminal thing that we were moving towards, which was this multiculturalism, another ism that doesn't work, that we all believe should work, and yes, it should work, but it doesn't work.
Well, it would work if we were left alone.
Yes, to get on with it.
But we're not left alone.
No, we're poked.
No.
We're poked on a regular basis with this, that and the other. These aren't getting on, they aren't getting on. Chechens, Ukrainians, Israel, Palestine, Philippines, it goes on and on and on.
2,000 years this fight has been documented, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Brown people against white people.
Yeah.
And on it's been going.
Mm-hmm.
And now, just even the words can... I mean, the lefty liberals are dangerous people, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
They are the dangerous people.
They are the dangerous.
You'll find them in the yellow party.
Yeah.
they have the correct colour.
Cowardy custard. I'm saying that at school.
Silence isn't bloody golden.
You won't be allowed to say that now, will you?
I don't think we'll be allowed to say half the things that we say at school. In fact, I don't even know if we're allowed to say any of the things. But the fragmentation is what really, I mean, there's... If you look at the list of things that we can actually be fragmented on, and purposely so, because our masters, our owners, they answer our questions, but they never answer our questions as a one, do they?
No.
We're always given a panel, so we can argue about which choices we've been offered. In other words, the answers come, and the one in power says why they haven't yet achieved it, and blames all the rest around them,
mm-hmm.
and all of us around them. Okay, they say they can achieve it if they can replace the one in power.
Yes.
So it's a rhetorical type question. It keeps going round and round and round. And now UKIP have sort of stepped into the arena, and I think the book is now it's definitely going to be a coalition.
Yes.
But between what colours?
It's looking that way.
It is looking, isn't it?
Mm.
You know, I mean, the press have tried to really, bury UKIP.
Yeah.
But for some reason or another, the English public's not having it. You know, this nationalism, which is what always happens before we get to a war-like situation.
Yeah.
Nationalism is now coming, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at UKIP, they're very clever, because UKIP do go with the poor, the NHS, the homosexuals, like you said, the Bulgarians, the Romanians, single mothers, Europe, the French, libraries, people of any colour really, schools, women, foreigners, homeless, working class, Scots even. There's so much stuff to argue about. Why do all the poor people feel the need to argue amongst themselves? Is it because we're scared of the fight?
Yeah.
Is it because we know deep down we don't have the education or language to fight them?
Yeah.
Is it because the talking heads that we revere know damn well that we can't get to them, because they've set in place, in motion, a process where we'll never get promoted to the jobs they have, because we don't come from the right background, we don't have the right education or even accent. So no matter how loud we shout, we will never be able to replace the positions they hold. And yet we can't recognise that the only power we have is to collectively challenge a system that wants to make us as poor as possible, so we're the easiest to control. But we don't. We just fight amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
And I've learned over the past few months, because I've had a number of opportunities now to speak to people one-on-one in my house, over a period of time that is 3 or 4 months. And each time I've spent 3 or 4 months with a one-on-one situation, just the odd night here and there, and the coffee here and there, just spending time trying to make people understand why we have to fight, why we feel the need to fight, and how it is our downfall whether we win or lose. Because every fight we actually take part in, if we win, we lose a friend. If we lose, we make something weaker. Something that was stronger before we started the fight is now weaker. And that's the trust in the person who wanted to fight with us. We cannot win these fights. We can only get the illusion of being stronger. Well, why? Why do we feel the need to fight for... It was tried in the communes, in the 70s. We hear people in our groups saying, we want to give us a field, or give us a couple of fields, give us near a stream, give us some land where we can grow our own food, and leave us alone and let us develop our own communes.
Yeah.
This has been tried.
It has.
This has been tried in the late 60s and the 70s. They said, go on then, have a go. Have a go, why don't you? Do you know how long the longest one lasted? Just over 6 months. And you know what happened? Because the strongest characters took control of the weakest.
Yeah.
They dominated the weakest and then made demands upon them which were what you would call unequal and unfair.
Well, Boris Johnson and his sister both spent time on a kibbutz in Israel. I don't think a lot of people know that, but they actually did. It was part of their training for the jobs that they were going into. And I think his sister has a role in politics as well, but it's on the fringes. It's advising and things like that. So they're both very well into politics, but that's where they cut the teeth, on a kibbutz in Israel.
It's making connections, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
We've talked about this. I mean, in our heads now, we make connections all day about things that we could never previously connect.
No.
Because it is a holographic universe.
It is.
A mirror within a mirror, or a picture within a picture. They all link together, and every animal, every culture is portraying the same levels of control and hierarchy.
Yep.
For anyone to tell you that we can change that, it's not their fault. It's just that it's not true. It's not going to change like that.
No.
What changes is the majority and how they think and speak.
Yep.
And we are the majority, which is why they want to control how we think and how we speak. Now, there are encouraging signs that you can get people to look at the world a little bit differently. But the first thing you have to do is tell them why they fight and why they can never win while they're fighting. What do I see in the people that we're speaking to now? The desire to fight for the right to be right about things they can't prove. It's silliness. It is silly.
It is.
Those people who cause the fighting, they want followers. Right from the start, you and I have said we don't want followers.
No.
We're not bothered about subscriptions. We're not bothered about anybody who's listening to us in the way that we care, in the way that you think we might. We just sit here and chat. We sit here and chat, and we say what we want to say, and if you get something from it, good for you. If you leave us a thanks very much on the YouTube video, thanks very much for leaving us a thanks very much. If you leave a nasty comment, have a little think about what that says about you. Because it's a bit like being invited in for a cup of coffee by someone you don't know, and then taking a dump on the doorstep on the way out because they didn't give you a sandwich, did they? It's not very nice, is it?
No.
If you don't like what we're talking about, move along. There's no charge for this show.
No, you've not paid anything.
You've not paid anything.
We've shared it for...
And there's an awful lot of channels out there.
For your time, yeah.
So for you to want to take a dump on the doorstep on the way out, ask yourself why you would do that. Because that makes you look a real fool, doesn't it?
Criticism we've not got a problem with.
We're okay with critiquing.
Yeah.
Good God, I mean, didn't we learn in the early days?
Oh.
When I was younger, right, I got off to such a flying start in business. I thought I had the bloody Midas touch. Everything that I got involved with, and I was so prepared to work hard and so prepared to sacrifice I really did well. Didn't last forever.
No, it didn't last
for long. What a long way down that was.
Yeah.
What a bloody bump that was. From it really was. I was doing so well. I was
peaks and troughs.
Yeah, within my age group, within the people my age where I was living, I was pretty much flying high, But you know what? Looking back, I'm embarrassed of that person. I'm embarrassed who I was because I know how I thought and I know what I said.
Yeah,
I was everything that I hope I'm not now.
It's what I enjoy now being is wrong, and somebody's telling me that I'm wrong and explaining why I'm wrong. And
you say thanks very much, don't you?
Thank you, but I didn't see it like that at all.
Yeah,
I just didn't. Why? I understand now why you can't see things, because of the blinkers on the advisors.
They do advise us. They advise us or advise us.
Advise us,
so we can't see properly.
So you can't see properly.
You can only see what's in front of you, and they put what's in front of you.
Yeah. You're like the racehorse that doesn't want to go in the starting blocks.
Yeah.
So they put blinkers on it.
But everything we see, they put in front of us.
Yeah.
And we buy it.
Yes, we do.
We buy all the TV, we buy the magazines, we buy the newspapers.
Yeah.
We put what they create in front of our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So they make sure what we put in is what they want us to put in.
Yeah.
Which explains to a lot of people in the early days why the newspapers have all the stories in.
Yeah.
Because one of the paradigms that I had a lot of trouble with in the early days is I'm told not to believe the newspapers. But everybody quotes from them. Everybody uses the newspapers to say this is what's happening.
Yeah.
But now I haven't to believe them.
I know. Going back to Boris Johnson, he cut his teeth on the Spectator magazine, didn't he? He was the editor of that. And yet, when you put all these things together and link, you realise what journey you can see the journey they're on. Mm-hmm. Now, some people have forecast that he's going to be Prime Minister by 2020.
Who should we have as Oppo? Who should we have as Junior? Let's have a think. Russell Brand?
Russell Brand might be in
Russell
there.
Brand? Yeah. Who else should we have?
Katie Price. Not Katie Price.
No, Katie Price wants to be on education.
Katie Price.
Let's have Katie Hopkins.
Katie Hopkins. That's what I was trying to think of.
What do you think? She should be... She needs to be into the relation.
Public relations.
Home Secretary. We'll have her. How about... who else... Celebrity Big Brother we're on now. I'm in Celebrity Big Brother House Bay now. I don't know half of them. Cheggers is in there.
Cheggers.
Keith Cheggin's in there. If you want to see life concentrated, and why it's called a reality show, watch Celebrity Big Brother. I know you're told not to watch TV. Most religions tell you not to watch TV.
No,
don't buy them books. Don't listen to them. They're from the devil.
The Christians say don't read the Quran, and the Quran says don't read the Bible.
Exactly. So your gurus are going to tell you, don't you listen to anybody else except me. I've got the truth, and you'll come back and get it.
Them Buddhists, they don't want to be Hindus.
We never take a moment. Who painted this? Who painted the planet these different colours? Who put lines on? Who gave them all a book that's similar but different? Who gave them all a language but similar but different? And they gave them all a currency that's similar but different, and a flag. So they fight.
I know. I blame the leprechauns. It's all their fault.
I blame I'll blame the Greys.
The
Greys or the Nephilim. Yeah. It's a 2,000-year-old book, the Bible, and we don't actually. When I first started, I thought the Bible had no relevance to my life. And after a few months, I found myself quoting from the damn thing.
It's amazing.
It does work in the early days. It does draw you in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does draw you in. So it is easy to realise why people do convert to the Bible. But all you're doing is swapping one control system for another one.
Yeah.
You're saying that one's rubbish. I want to join this mafia, this tribe.
I need another mummy and daddy.
That's exactly what happens.
I need somebody to tell me what to do all the time because I cannot think for myself.
You don't have to when you join those clubs, do you?
You don't know.
And we've said before, we realise that joining the tribe gives you security and safety. I realise that is the reason why tribes had to exist. Otherwise, you're easy to pick off, weren't you?
Yeah.
But we haven't really got a tribe, have we?
No, I don't want one.
But we have. I'd like to meet like-minded people.
Yes.
Who make me think that the world has got a future in what is independent thinking.
Yeah.
And you and I can meet people, very few and far between, but they exist. And at the next pay level up, you can actually find them in life. They are there.
Yeah.
They are there speaking the truths. But you have to you have to feel free to do that. You cannot speak your truth if you're not free. And in this modern world that we live, freedom is actually debt. The release from debt.
Yeah.
Which is why we can find the poorest at the bottom shouting and bawling at the system because they have no debt. But as you go up the scale, the debt increases, doesn't it? You know, the white-coated experts, the doctors and things like that, you know, they are really quite defined in a system, along with solicitors and barristers and judges and police, the top police. They're very confined by the rules and regulations that makes them rich.
Yeah.
So the language that they speak, or the language that they're spoken to, is that you have a responsibility to maintain this status quo.
Yeah.
And the quality of life you're enjoying is because you understand why this status quo must be maintained. Now, we spent a long time, didn't we, finding how the world works.
Yeah.
But now we're learning why it works.
Yeah.
There be the difference. Why does it blooming work?
Why does it work? Yeah.
Exactly.
Just something that fits in with there. I used to work at Comet, the electrical retailer, and we had incentive-based selling schemes there. And one of the incentive selling schemes was a thing called the time card, which was basically Comet's credit card at 39.9%. And I was the top salesman on time card. And one of the salesmen that had been there a long time said to me, before you go to the computer and try and sell them anything on credit, ask them what the profession is, because if they're a policeman or woman, it won't accept them to have credit.
A policeman or a woman?
A policeman or a woman. In the police,
Where are we
in
now?
the police force.
1980...
We're 90, sort of mid-90s.
Really?
Yeah.
Or a woman?
A policeman or a woman.
Give a woman credit.
They wouldn't give. If you were on the police force, I don't know whether it was just exclusive to Comet, but this, I didn't believe him. I thought because there's that rivalry between salespeople.
Yep.
I didn't listen to him. I thought, he's just trying to. I was top salesman. He was just trying to get me off top salesman for time card. So
who would do that?
I thought
everybody would do that. Yeah.
I thought, cheers for that, Richard. Whatever. But he was right. The policemen and women that came in, as soon as you put in
policemen and women,
and women,
yeah, I've got it down.
It didn't matter you're a policeman or a policewoman. If you're in the police force, if you put down police, that's it. It came up. Computer says no.
And to this day, you don't know why.
I do not know why. I've no idea why. But I look. That is my truth.
That was true at that time.
That
for
was
Comet,
true at that time for Comet. Comet would not loan to police officers.
You remind me of the old adage: dumb criminals get caught by police. Smart criminals join the police.
Well, it never happened on my watch anyway. That's all I can say. And I was there at the busy times. I did the Saturdays and the Sundays.
We do live in a world that is actually. It exists on corruption, deceit, and lies.
It does, yes. Yeah.
And this is awful, really, for an awful realisation, because it does ruin your day when you wake up with the, how's today going to be? Oh, it's run on corruption, lies, and deceit. How do you think it's going to be? You're going to have to negotiate your way through all this rubbish to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we do about that? Because it is, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
We're told what the rules are, which keeps us in place and stops us challenging how it really works.
Yeah.
Because how it really works is, do what you can get away with. Pay what you have to.
Yeah.
Mix with the right people, you get away with this. Grease the right palms, you get away with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about how that really works.
Yeah.
So, while we're still playing by the rules, we can never win. We can never win. I mean, remember playing Monopoly? Do you remember being a banker? when you went past Pasco, did you give yourself 200 quid like everybody else? Did you?
I might have slipped an extra 100 in there, I think.
So we're all magicians to some point in our way.
Yeah, certainly.
We're all trying tricks of sleight of
Yeah.
hand and look this way while I'm busy doing that.
Yeah,
So our flag being the double cross actually is perfect, isn't it?
it certainly is.
It is the double cross, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is the art of deception. The art of war itself is betrayal, a timely betrayal. When always you've been creating an ally
Yeah,
until the time comes,
and
until you don't need them. And the people who are in the system should remember that. If you're allying with this system, okay, they're going to betray you.
they will.
They've already betrayed us.
Yeah.
We're aware of the betrayal.
Yeah,
And we deal with that betrayal every day. And we help other people. But the people who are closest to the centres of power, they are going to be betrayed.
yeah,
Because they have to be.
yeah,
Because the system can never allow those that know to remain alive once it reveals its intentions. And its intentions are close to being revealed now.
they are. I was just going to say, if you work for the government and you're in a government building, I'd make sure you know where the emergency exits are, because the way this is going with right Charlie Hebdo's and things that are coming, if you work in a government building, you're up for a target.
Well, what I'm saying is, though, you're right, I agree with you, by the way, but what I'm trying to do is, where am I going here? Where's my Facebook page? What I want to show is, there it is. The truth is out now, and this is an article on my Facebook page, and it's from, his computer. How many times does this computer update? Every time I go on. Right, I don't use it often enough. This is an article from Tuesday the 18th of March 2014. So we've missed this. And this is basically the Bank of England and their actual role in the economy. And this is The Guardian. That the truth's out. And this whole article confirms what we've said about banks all the way along. They don't have any money. They don't have any. But they don't need any.
No,
because
they
they
don't
have the
need
magic
any.
wand.
Yes,
And we've given them the magic wand
we have.
by wanting things.
Yep.
Let's get this sorted out. But we've given them the power to grant our wishes. And we've gone and said, please may I have. The understanding how the money system works is paramount to understanding why it works. Because we are made to chase a resource that is now manufactured from our promises. Nothing more. Read the article and you find that every house that has been bought by mortgage has been paid for twice. Once the capital and second with the interest. And the interest is always calculated that you'll pay it twice. So if you buy a house for £150,000, the bank has made £150,000 profit. And it's been doing it for a very long time. It actually is impossible for a bank to lose money if that's the model they have. So how did they lose money? Well, they're a bunch of gamblers.
Yes.
Life is a gamble. And you get up all day and make your choices based on what you think is going to be a favourable and fortunate outcome.
Risk.
Yeah.
Risk.
And they have been encouraged to play with your future promises. They have gambled your future profits in a derivatives market. And these derivatives markets, not even the people who've been gambling in them know exactly how they work. In fact, I defy you to find me somebody who knows exactly what's going on. Because the land of confusion works for them too.
It does.
Now they are being paid very well to continue this system of making us poorer. And yet these are the very dregs of society who make nothing except millions of people poor and destroy their dreams and hopes. Do you think the system's going to maintain them in the future? The answer is no, it's not.
No.
If it's any solace and comfort to the people who are listening, the bankers will be sacrificed first. They will be sacrificed first, and the reason that it will be that is because we will run and the money. People in Ireland are learning what it's like to be told what to do. They said they didn't want to go into the Euro 4 or 5 years ago, and Europe said, we'll ask you again. That was the wrong answer. We shall ask you again.
One ring to bind them all.
And you will say yes.
Yes.
And the propaganda machine started, and you can tell me all about the conspiracy about the votes were already in the taxis before the boxes were actually... Yeah. That election was going to change, and I believe the people of which Scandinavian country was it? They got told to do the same thing, wasn't it? Was it Sweden? No, one of them didn't. Oh no, Norway's not in it, is it?
No, they're not.
But what they said, they didn't want it, and I said, try again. Try some wrong answer.
Yeah.
Well, that's like a torture, isn't it? It's like a torturer does that, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you again, and this time I'd like the right answer, please. But the people of Ireland are actually getting Southern Ireland. They're actually getting they're getting taught quite in the harshest terms. You're having water meters.
Yep.
You're having them. And the reason why they're being so harsh and stern, and you're bloody having them no matter what, and we don't care what the rules say, you're having them. And the reason why police in big numbers are being asked to turn up to protect the water people, to put them in, is because the meters are paramount to the next stage of control
of this token
it
system that we're going towards.
Salaries are going to turn into calories, are going to turn into you won't eat if you don't do as you're told.
Exactly.
And the Irish people have been told, but they're learning quite quickly, that these water meters are going in. You're having them.
Yeah.
You're having them whether you like it or not.
And we can turn them up and down at will.
And they do.
Yeah.
Anybody who gets a water meter in, I had a water meter in 2.5, 3 years ago, and because my meter is in the road, it's not on my property, I had no say on which meter I get.
No control over it.
So the water meter was changed to a smart meter, and my water bills immediately went up almost 40%.
Yeah.
And I phoned them up and I said, "This is nothing's changed at my end, except you've changed the meter, and my bills have gone up 40%." And they said, "We charge £25 to come out and check it." The £25 is to be paid in advance. We'll come out and check it, and you can trust us to tell you if it's working properly.
It's right.
And I said that is ridiculous. They're either working properly or not. Why can you test them yourself? Why can't I have an independent test? And they said you don't have to actually use Yorkshire Water Services at all if you don't want to. Which is nice, thinly veiled. We'll turn you off if we want to.
If we want to, yeah.
Thinly veiled. You don't have to use Yorkshire Water Services, you know. Like I have a choice.
It's only available in Yorkshire, isn't it? Yorkshire Water. I think they have that written on the vans. Yorkshire Water, only available in Yorkshire.
I think Evian had the right idea, didn't they? Evian.
Yeah.
What was the first bottled water to be sold in the UK? Well, I'm quite sure it was the first one, but let's call it Evian. Let's call it Evian and make it look really stupid. If it's any consolation, tap water in restaurants now has to be filtered.
Oh, right.
If it's any consolation. So don't get fooled to buying the bottled water stuff. Tap water should be filtered.
Yeah.
Just a side tip there for you.
Right.
But yeah, water is the last resource to be controlled.
Yeah.
And the possession of water is where we get the word power.
It is, yeah.
Power and shower. And a show of water is a shower, and the possession of water is power. Yeah. And that's what we need to keep ourselves well.
Well, yes.
And we're going to come to the well.
You have.
And we say thank you for giving us clean water. So welcome.
So we.
Yeah, welcome. Well, the fracking lark seems to have gone a bit off kilter at the moment due to the cost of oil.
Yes.
The Saudis weren't having it, were they?
Nope.
The Saudis said that we'll just teach you who's
got the most money.
Let's see. We'll just flex our muscles. We'll try and bankrupt Russia and
Who's
Iran.
buying the Maseratis and the Ferraris and the
exactly
Lamborghinis? They're all Italian cars.
Well, that economy is completely. You see, their economy is booming. Their economy is booming while ours is heading towards deflation.
Yep.
Just in time for the round of wage rises that are calculated by, is it the April inflation figure? Isn't it the public officials, the people who work for the government? It's calculated by the rate of inflation in April, along with the pension rises, all due to October.
Yeah.
So deflation's on the way.
It is on the way.
So when people say to you, prices never go down to you, prices never go down. They always go up, don't they, Paul? I say, yeah, do your wages ever go down? Do you ever take less money last week than you had this week? You say, no. I say, neither do I.
Well, we've never been in deflation, apparently. So
but
this is going to be uncharted territory.
So that means that you're actually going to lower your pension.
Yes.
You'll get less.
You'll get less. And I think they're going to put us into it just to see what the hell happens.
So does this actually... Yeah,
because as Mervyn King said, it'll be fun.
Lies and damn statistics. So what happens is that if I actually say in April that the deflation figure is minus 0.75%. So we're delighted to tell you that you're actually better off this year than you were last year. How they do that with a straight face, I don't know. But they do. So they say, look, I'll tell you what. By the rules that we've got, we could actually reduce your wages and your pensions by that amount. But we won't. We'll leave them as they are. Isn't that good of us?
Wonderful. You're looking after us.
Can you believe anything a bunch of liars tell you? Can you believe anything? This whole reality is built on lies.
It is.
True lies, though.
Yes.
Because everybody thinks they're true. So true lies is what we live in. A fairy tale full of true lies that people actually enjoy. Because we can go home after a hard day's work and watch people having a good time. And that's good enough. That's all you deserve. Watch people achieving their dreams. And that's good enough for us. A simulation of a life. Get up, go to work, pay your bills, go to sleep. Get up, go to work, pay your bills, go to sleep. Almost perfect rechargeable batteries. Almost perfect.
Yeah.
It's an efficiency game, this. Efficiency.
Yes, it is.
Efficiency. And with the coalition that I think we've got coming this time around, in the which liar would you like?
Which liar?
So we'll have liar A, liar B, liar C, liar D. We've got the Greens in this time.
Well, it's going to be we've said it's going to be UKIP and Cameron.
Baby David said he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to do the debates, does he? No. Naughty baby David. Naughty baby David. Tintin. Just like those. Across the Cabbage Patch Bowl, Tintin and baby David.
Yeah.
I'd love him to come and sit here with annihilate him.
Yeah.
I'm about to start contacting because our local elections, or our local elections and our main elections, are all now being put together.
Yes, it's been ramped up.
So we should have the candidates, a list of candidates, by the end of the month. So I'm going to see how many I can contact.
We're going to invite them on,
how many we can get on.
And we're going to interview them.
We are.
Yeah.
To see how much they know about history, religion, politics, and the money system.
And the area that we're voting from.
But we want to know how much they know. And let's see what we've got. We're going to ask we'll come up with a list of questions, maybe 6, 8, 10, 12, whatever. Yeah. And we'll ask them all the same questions.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to spend a good 5 minutes writing something down.
And we'll see who comes on, see who takes the invite.
I'm going to record the phone calls to the secretaries and offices. I'm actually going to record them and play you.
I like
Couldn't
this.
get so-and-so.
I like your style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have a little fun with that.
Yeah, a bit of fun.
Because if we don't get involved locally and let them know that we're here and let them know that we are prepared to help. Because people say, well, do you vote? And you say, well, it doesn't ever say yes or no. You're going to have some smart answer here.
Yeah.
No, you have no say. Yes, but you didn't win, so you still have no say.
Still have no say, no.
So when someone says, do you vote? Don't answer them with yes or no. My advice is to say, it's not so much who you vote for, it's whether you go and insist that they do their jobs.
Yeah.
Make them do the job.
Have we got the power to do that?
No. No, but we do if we tried. If we actually tried. I mean, the thing is,
we need more pitchforks. That's what we need. Pitchforks and burning haystacks. That's what we need.
This ends in the South African model. You know that, don't you?
Yes, it does.
This does end in and I spoke about the South African model a couple of weeks ago, didn't I?
I'll need a machete.
Gated communities, security on every bloody exit entrance, and unable to walk the streets.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, that's where we're heading, and even the rich people know. BBC Two have done a 2-part series about the divide between the rich and poor, and I've recorded both of them, and I'll download them and we'll look for some clips. The system is telling us how it works. It maybe always did, but we were never smart enough to listen properly.
Not smart, no.
Well,
we'd had the slave training camp education, hadn't we?
We just had the listen but don't learn.
Yeah.
It's like music. It's like music.
Copy and
We've listened to
paste.
music all our lives
Yeah.
and never heard the words. We never heard them. And if we did hear them, we still had no value. They were just sing-along nursery rhymes. But they're not. They're not at all. The language is what got us started, isn't it? The language is what got us started. And sometimes we should go back to the beginning.
Yes.
I know it's like tonight when you were waiting for me to get myself sorted, you were back to
I was
obvious or oblivious. Can you see the lie?
2 years ago.
2.5, nearly 3.
It is, yes, of course, yeah.
We are programmed a fish and chip reality or a spider and web reality. Because once they get us into sections, we'll be insects.
Yeah.
And they can get us into little groups and pick us off. Because that's the idea.
It is.
They're going to disable us.
Yeah.
That's the idea. The government doesn't like criticism now, and there's plenty of newspaper threats, as it were, that they're going to clamp down on people who say this and clamp down on people who say that. Which means that now you self-censor. There are now words that you and I, like I say, when we were at primary school, we would have some rather colourful language to describe differences, especially in sexuality. And now we can't use any of those. If we look at the French model, they're removing the words parent and mother and father. They're trying to. Yeah. They're trying to eliminate it.
I know that came into our... on the paperwork you got from school, it said guardian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have been trying to squeeze it in, and that's going back to my childhood. So that's how long they've been trying to squeeze this in. Yeah. Slowly catch the monkey. And they're way far in the future ahead of us. They pretty much know which way with algorithms.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
get down with the algorithm, and they know pretty much which way we're going to go. They can speculate it'll be which is the favourite way it's going to go.
Good shepherd.
Yes.
Good shepherds.
By hook or by crook.
That's right. Hook for the ship. No. Hook for the fish. Crook for the sheep.
For the sheep.
Land and sea. Land and sea, my friend. Or you can do addiction or deception.
Yes.
Because addiction is hook.
Yeah.
And deception is crook.
It is.
And it is addiction or deception that they've got us. We're addicted to... Well, every relationship is based on needs.
Yes.
It's always based on needs. And we usually don't like people who are too needy. But we always see people who are too needy, but never look at why do we do things that we do. And what we do is because it's based on what we need and then what we want.
Yeah.
And we get needs and wants mixed up because we already have what we need, because mummy and daddy allow us to survive at the basic level, giving us what we need, which is somewhere to put your head at night time and enough, and only just enough to get through to the next check, the next month, the next little bit of money that you get. And I know that there are some people who are just genuinely hard up, and I know there's some people working 40 and 50 hours a week and still don't have enough to actually feed mum and 2 kids. So we have to have a look at the big businesses who will not pay a living wage, and we should see those businesses as stealing off the taxpayers.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing.
That is actually what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're stealing off the taxpayer. They're being allowed to pay a wage below living standard.
Yes.
And the government, through stealing off those that still have,
is
topping it up.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. And the majority of new jobs in this country now are part-time jobs. And those part-time jobs are counted as jobs. And they're not really differentiated in the figures. We've got so many million people working and so many million people not working, and that's all people actually get. That's the only line that goes into their head. Nobody realises that the ones on 16 to 24 hours are having to have the money topped up by those that are doing more hours. And eventually, like all socialism plans are, if we can't all be rich, the plan is that we'll make you all poor. And the poor people are happy to find more of themselves. If someone says, I'm going to help you be rich, no, They're going to help themselves be rich.
Yeah.
And a side benefit might be that you have some as well. They're not there to make you rich at all. Look at the music industry. The music industry now, we're finding now, has been grooming, picking, and preparing acts for us to see and hear and buy into. And we're finding that some of them can't sing at all. But with today's modern technology, auto-tune or something similar, we can now get people who can't sing and you would never pay to hear, we can now get them to sing songs that we buy.
Yeah.
That makes that singer powerless.
It does.
Now you will sign a contract, 90% for me and 10% for you. And if you don't like it, I'll just go and find somebody else and I'll make them sing as well.
Yeah.
And because the whole world thinks you can sing and I know you can't, you're mine. You'll do what I tell you. And if you don't, I'll crush you. That's what they want, isn't it?
It certainly is, yeah.
Isn't that what happens? We put people in positions where they shouldn't be. We give them titles and positions and power they shouldn't have. And then they have to come to us to find out what to do with it.
Yeah.
Because behind the scenes, we are the power. They are just the foil. Yeah?
Yeah.
We've said that many times, haven't we? Find an idiot, put him in a position of power, then tell him what to do. And when eventually the public is sick of this idiot, crush him and give him another one.
I
How
know.
bloody hard can it be?
They tell you, don't they, at school, work on your 3 R's. The writing, the reading and the arithmetic, which is good advice. We should do that and we don't. But then
We've got calculators now.
Exactly.
Speak and spell.
But then
we had that when we were 3 or 4, speak and spell.
Yeah. Then they change it to the 2 R's. Reward and recognition.
Yeah.
And going to the celebrity and pushing you towards that. That's all what kids want to be. They've brought stars in their eyes back on ITV.
Those kids think that there's fame jobs for everybody.
They do, yes. They do.
I'm going to be rich and... I mean, they've got
I
a totally
aspire to
misguided opinion. I mean, I've spoken to him about you when he used to work for me. I've had to let him go now because I can't keep him on. He's useless.
Yeah.
He's going to be an architect. He knows nothing about buildings.
No.
Nothing about styles of architecture. Nothing. He just fancies being an architect because he likes drawing houses. Right? I've had to let him go, and here's the rub. He comes from a professional family. Mum and Dad are both professionals, and he's well spoken, and school has told him he's smart.
Yep.
School has told him he's smart. He couldn't learn how to use my cash register, which is a
Push
itemised.
Itemised, yeah.
Press the button when they've asked for it, and hit subtotal. He couldn't use it. He could not listen to the order being given, turn round and put it in the cash register. That has never happened before.
No.
And he comes from an educational background that says he is in the top set.
Scary stuff.
A crime is being committed against our children.
It is a criminal, yeah. Yeah.
Right, coming back to needs. Right, I don't think people appreciate that every relationship is based on needs.
Yeah.
I know I said that just a minute ago, but I don't think we look at it properly. When we meet somebody, we always do the quick calculation of who's got most and who wants something. And sometimes it can be basic, like, would they have sex with me? Or would I have sex with them? But it's immediately you gauge who has the most power in the conversation. And that person, they decide who it is. If it's them, they just assume it's them. And it's usually done in the most superficial of ways, by what you're wearing, isn't it? By what you're wearing and what you look like. And then you speak, and the whole judgment thing is done in seconds. And they decide if you've got more or less than them, and then the relationship starts from there. Well, it doesn't stop being a relationship based on needs. And in the bigger picture of things with government, we have the same relationship based on needs. They create a whole world of illusion, a simulation of a life, this. Because that's all it is. It's a simulation of a life. It's the life that we think we should live. Because everybody else and everything else is showing us how to be successful in it. But it's not the only way that we could live. We could live in different ways, but only as an exercise in chattering. You and I can do that now. We can imagine different ways we can live, but we can't change the way we are living. On a bigger scale, the only freedom you and I have is the freedom to be ourselves, to be the one person we're meant to be. And we hear those lines, don't we? Just be who you're meant to be. Be the one person you were made to be. The reason you can do that is because you're self-employed and actually bow to nobody. Well, I have the same fortune. I don't have to bow to anybody.
No.
I don't report to anybody. Yes, I've got to pay my taxes. Yes, I've got to pay the VAT, man. But pretty much after that, I'm free to do whatever I want. I can open and close my shop and go and leave and charge whatever I want. And there's a freedom that a lot of people don't have because of the external methods of control of wanting to be liked. Do you remember the two things that we've always spoke about? One was stop chasing the money. And the second was actually knowing that you really don't care what people think about you. How many people do you know like that?
Not many.
I don't know any.
No.
Not really, I don't know any. Because our needs are based on running around for this resource called money. That is made from magic. It's a magic that makes it. People will never... Do you remember when we used to actually explain the money system to people? That there isn't any.
No.
It's just your promises that are actually digitally created because you've asked them to be. And the bank takes no risk.
No.
Because they've asked enough questions now to know that whatever it is you've promised to pay them for, if you don't pay it, they'll just take it off you. So it's no bother to them. They can't lose. They assume no risk. But what they did do is they spent the interest that you were going to pay them before you paid them. They packaged it up and sold it as financial instruments around the world to whoever was prepared to buy them. And what they said was in the box wasn't actually in the box, was it? So yes, the bankers did their version of what we were doing in the 80s of buying houses. They've just been played for the same fools. And although we're carrying the bill, we're paying the tab, we know, don't we? We're all learning that these people have stolen our children's futures. Because despite the fact that the majority of people you'll bump into really are so stupid that the national debt has increased by 50% over the past 5 years, and yet they still listen to the little boys telling us austerity will be good for us in the end. Is this not religion of the highest order? Suffer now, and your children will benefit. Your rewards will be in heaven.
They will,
Isn't that what's going on here?
My mum at the last week, I called in to see her, and she's in her 70s now, and my stepdad's in his 70s, and she actually said she's realised we were the generation that got these were her words. We were the generation that got the deal. We managed to work, buy a house, have cars, have holidays, and we've got the pension. And she can see in her own children, myself, my brother, and my sister, we're not going to get that deal. She said this was the only one and only deal. This was the Chesney Hawks. It really was. And she's realised that. And she said to me, I don't know what you can do about it. I said, Mum, I don't know what we can do about it either.
Well, first of all, we've educated ourselves.
Yes.
And secondly, the future's going to hold less surprise for us. You see what I mean? It's the disappointments that the future throws, the challenges that the future throws up, that puts you off course and demoralises you. In other words, you don't care.
No.
You know, this system pummels you so much that you actually get to the point, I don't feel anything anymore. I don't feel anything anymore. I read the headlines, I see the pain, I see the depression. You know, the number one killer of males in this country between 18 and 45 is suicide.
Yeah.
We should just take a moment here The number one killer of men in this country in 1845 is suicide.
Yeah. And that coincides with the campaign Clegg's on at the moment. Bless them. They do look after us, don't they? Clegg's got himself involved with the hospitals and trying to reduce the amount of suicides. You couldn't make this crap up, could you?
Well, they do.
But they do.
They do.
Yes.
They do. And we
they do on
never,
a day-to-day basis.
And we never connect it, do we? We never connect it. We don't realise that for us little fish, us human resource, there's someone who's thinking how to captivate us.
Yeah.
And they're called Think Tanks. This isn't difficult, is it?
It isn't, no.
And the people who do this, they know they are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
This is how to control 64 million people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there isn't really a handbook on how to control 64 million people available to us. But there is, online, The Story of Your Enslavement by Stephen Molyneux.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend everybody should at least listen to that once.
Mm-hmm.
Myself, more than once. You are a slave.
Yeah.
I am a slave. Mm-hmm. But I know I am. And the freedom I can achieve, I'm doing my best to achieve it.
Yeah.
To not follow the others.
Well, not follow the others. Look at Je suis Charlie. Look at the people that get out on the streets and everybody saying, this is great, this is wonderful, this is what we want. We want people to go out.
What were they marching for?
What were they marching for?
Freedom of bloody speech, like you didn't have it.
And then we've just had marching in Pakistan on the other side. No, you cannot mock the prophets. You just
yeah, but which square? I mean, is it Trafalgar Square or is it Westminster Square? If it was Trafalgar Square, it's fine. But you can't protest in Westminster.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
You can't.
Not within a mile. Not within a mile of Westminster.
No, they've cordoned that off.
So freedom of speech where we say
where
we bloody say you can.
Yeah.
You're free to do whatever we allow you to.
Tell you to. Yeah.
And give you a license for.
Yeah.
We'll know what time you're coming, how many's coming, and what time and where you're going. And if you don't follow what you, we won't let you.
Yeah. Brilliant, isn't it, this freedom of speech that we do typing.
Well, the good thing about it is
on texting.
The good thing about it is now this freedom of speech is so advanced. We don't have to talk anymore.
We don't know.
We don't even have to talk.
How dumb's that?
It's brilliant. We can now be as brave as you like. We can now say what we want. I live in a mob rule democracy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to type things that I daren't say to people to their face. That is freedom.
Mm.
How much more? How much more? A lot more.
Mm. A lot.
This is going to go a long way yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
We now have weak, pathetic people who are going to be offended by what we've just said. Mm-hmm. Eventually, we will either be nice to each other, or you won't.
Mm.
And if you're not nice to me, I'm not going to bother with you. Because we all think we should be nice to each other. And we think that as long as we think that 2 and 2 is 5, it's 5. Because we say it is.
Yeah.
Because we create reality. We make it. We are the creators. So I'm going to go play with my toys and colour in my princess tattoo with my pink purse. And I'll be 40 next year. So I'm off to watch my favourite Disney film, Frozen. Tell me that's the future.
Yeah.
And I'll say you're not paying attention. It's bloody now.
We're here. That's
bloody
where
now.
we are.
You want to see who runs the world? Watch Celebrity Concentrate Brother. Yeah. Who runs the world? The guys are keeping well clear of the girls.
They have. The
guys are like, Jesus Christ.
It's like a nunnery and a monastery in the same house.
I'm not sure about a nunnery. It's a bloody madhouse. The girls make the bullets, load the bullets, and now They've joined the forces. Now they bloody fire them. The entire celebrity Big Brother house is controlled by the girls. The fights, the fallouts, who goes, who stays. And you would think that...
and it's only men that have left so far.
Because the girls are picking them off.
Yep.
Including Perez, who's a girl. But the thing is, you learn these little... This is an experiment.
Yep.
This is just experiment, this house. But it's not. It's actually a clear show of how life works. Because you would think the brains would unite together and see who's strongest. The weak would form a pact and vote off the strongest.
Yeah.
They don't, do they? You see the strongest get together and pick off the weak. And the weak are the ones that be lame. They be lame. They can't stand up for themselves. They're be lame. Everybody else's fault they don't win. It's not wrong, this language, is it?
No.
It's just that we're too stupid to learn it now.
It is, yeah.
We're actually too stupid to think that we... how can two guys from Yorkshire teach me anything?
I know.
Isn't that embarrassing?
It
when
is.
You meet people like that, they go, oh, bless. Have you been spending time on the internet? Have you?
We have. I'll put my hand up to
Naughty
that.
me.
I did. It is your apprenticeship. You've got to go through it. But
it's important that, by the way. Just go back. It is true.
It is, yeah.
We knocked the internet, and a year ago we were saying, get off it. We didn't quite have it in our heads then, did we?
No.
You've got to do this year or two.
You have, yeah.
To learn that you don't need to keep. You don't need to stay here.
Yeah. You don't need it all the time.
You know, the thing is that you've swapped one mind control system for another one. And you're still not thinking for yourself. Now you're learning different things that is very unpopular in the real world, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you've been told the doctors, the judges, the cops, the councillors, the politicians, everybody is out to get you. They're out to get you.
Yeah.
So you listen to me.
I tell you what, when you've done this and you've gone through it like we have, and we're about 8 years old, as we've said before, into it 8 years. My little trip to London, and they're obsessed with lions. And I couldn't quite figure what... And I understand the Egypt thing and the water coming out of the lion's mouth. Yeah, I've done all that and been there and done that. And then something clicked. And do you know what? You mentioning Big Brother there. It's a guy called Perez, isn't he?
Perez, yeah.
And is he the gay columnist or whatever? But I'm not being derogatory here. He's a gay man, isn't he? He's homosexual, I believe.
He's an outrageous American.
Yeah.
Now I don't say nasty things.
But he's a control freak, isn't he? I just saw a clip of it tonight. He was kissing his own picture on camera. But
he's playing a game.
But something clicked with me, and it was the lion. Now the lion and the male lion with the mane. And the lion is a feline, isn't it? It's a cat. The feline of the nature, and we refer to men as dogs and women as cats because that's how they've domesticated us. And
cats are baby lions.
And a cat's a baby lion. But the gay person it's a man in a woman's body, and that's
a woman in a man's body,
or a woman in a man's body, and that's the male lion. And the male lion, it's a feline, but it's a male. But and the women in the lion, they go out and catch the food
and bring it home.
And the lion has to eat. The male lion has to eat first.
And the only time he defends her is if somebody tries to take her off him.
Exactly. Yeah. And that is a gay man all over. They've got the might of a man, but they've got all the cunningness of a woman, and it worked. And when you see that deity plastered all over the place, the Egyptians knew it. They used it at the Sphinx, didn't they? It was a lion's body with a male head.
Well, look at the Queen Mum.
Yeah,
Our new Queen Mum.
Yeah.
Stephen Fry.
Stephen Fry. Yeah.
He's doing exactly the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And it isn't until you've listened to all this and you've turned it over in your own head, and I might be wrong. Some people might be on here saying, "Oh, that's a load of rubbish," but it fits for me at the moment.
It fits the pictures that we know, right? That male-dominating men is something that's been around for a long time.
It has.
In fact, in that way, male-dominated men was more popular than with women.
Yeah.
In their upper circles, and the closed parties and the house and the parties of the time were always with young male virgins, weren't they?
Yeah, yeah. And this is a total reversal of how it used to be. They've actually found carvings of Stone Age carvings in bone, and there's not one of them of the male gender. They're all female, and they have they've not concentrated on the head and the female figure. The only bits of the female figure they've concentrated on are the breasts and the reproductive organs.
Creation itself.
Because, yes,
creation and sustenance.
That's the power the woman had over the man.
Well, creation is
was
female.
Creation.
Goddesses have been worshipped throughout history.
Goddesses, yes.
Goddesses have been it was only in recent times.
Exactly.
Only in recent times that the man took control.
We've gone to a male deity.
And now we're going to go back.
We're going to
go back to a female deity.
This is the revolution that's going to come.
Mother Nature. And we're going to see the creation and the sustenance itself.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. We're going back to a female goddess. I agree entirely.
Yeah. And when will that be? I don't know. But
I think it's called.
It's got to
for the progressives, which is this is a progressive system, and you can hear the word socialism, or capitalism, or fascism, but it's actually, is it communitarianism, or is it corporatism, or is it what ism is it? It makes you wonder what ism it actually is.
It does.
For another Tuesday.
Yes.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Mine was Paul.
Mine was Andy.
Here's the answer to your problems. Dr. Utopia's sensational new discovery, ism. Ism will cure any ailment of the body politic. It's terrific. It's tremendous. Once you swallow the contents of this bottle, you'll have the bountiful benefit of higher wages, shorter hours, and security. Enormous profits, no strikes. Remember, you're the big boss. Government control, no worry about votes. Name your own salary. Bigger crops, lower costs. Why, ism even makes the weather perfect every day. And now then, because we are introducing this amazing item for the first time in this country, it isn't going to cost you 1 cent. All you have to do is sign this little scrap of paper, and you get your bottle absolutely free.
I hereby turn over to Ism Incorporated everything I have, including my freedom and the freedom of my children and my children's children, in return for which said ism promises to take care of me forever.